I'd like to welcome everybody who tuned in to Warrior of God Ministries. Today, we're looking at treasure number 219. Very interesting title, Escape Hatch. In today's treasure, we're going to talk about temptation, something we all face in our walk with the Messiah, Jesus Christ. My theme scripture is found in 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13, King James Version. It reads this way: There hath no temptation taken you but such as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. Think about that. The Lord always gives us a way out. Everyone has to deal with temptations at one time or another in his or her life. You should not be embarrassed if you're facing a temptation right now in your life. Don't be embarrassed about it. But at the same time, you don't have to succumb to the temptation or give in, because it is something you can overcome. Pay attention. All temptation can be beaten. You just have to make up your mind that you are going to be a conqueror, not the conquered. Very important. You may not have thought of it before, but the devil tries to lure you into sin by using your mind and your emotions. Let that sink in a minute. He injects thoughts into your mind and emotions that act as a stimulant to get you all stirred up in a certain area of your life. At that moment, you are consciously aware that you can let the temptation go by in using the escape hatch, or you can allow the thought to fester in your mind, and then it will take root in your emotions until they become a major stronghold in your mind to battle and conquer. By refusing to accept the thought in the first place, you can avoid the whole struggle. Think about what I just said. It's similar to a sexual temptation. You can choose to look the other way, the escape hatch, or you can dwell on this temptation until it fills your mind and imagination. If you choose to meditate on the thought the devil is trying to put in your head, it won't be long, listen, until the devil is waging a full-scale battle in your mind. If you don't use the escape hatch and stop those thoughts, the devil will, listen to what I'm saying, the devil will conquer you. Remember, the devil is a master when it comes to mind manipulation. He knows that if he can get you to spend a little more time on meditating on something wrong, he can eventually entice you to do it. Think about it. If the devil was persuasive enough to deceive brilliant, powerful, mighty angels, how much more can he deceive who live in a far from perfect environment and wrestle daily with their own imperfections? The devil attacks your mind, will, and emotions of all imperfect human beings walking on the face of the earth, and that's all of us. Satan waits for the right timing. He waits until you are tired, weary, or exasperated. Perhaps you didn't sleep well, or your day started on the wrong foot. Then suddenly he strikes you with a thought, something that takes you totally by surprise when your guard is down. Let's read 1 Corinthians again, chapter 10, verse 13, King James Version. There hath no temptation taken but such as is common to man. In other words, everybody. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape. Talking about the escape hatch, that ye may be able to bear it. The Greek word for temptation is parasmos, and it may refer to any outside source that appeals to a weakness in your flesh. The appeal pulls you like a magnet. It lures you mentally, emotionally. It entices the flesh to take a closer peek. Because the parasmos, temptation, describes any weakness of the flesh, this scripture could apply to any fleshly weakness you may struggle with, from being lazy to being easily offended to thinking too lowly or too highly of yourself to having a problem with anger or sexual temptation. Whatever your flesh responds to is what this word parasmos refers to. The Greek word for escape is the word ekbasis, E-K-B-A-S-I-S. This word is a compound word with ek, E-K, meaning out, and the word basin, meaning to walk. When they are compound together, it means to walk out as to walk out of a difficult place, to walk out of a trap, or to walk out of a place that isn't good for you. In other words, God gives you an escape hatch. Use it. Now, the Bible gives us a great example of a man named Joseph who utilized his escape hatch when Joseph fled from Potiphar's wife when she tried to seduce him. Rather than stay there and negotiate in the midst of the situation, in Genesis 39:12 says Joseph fled and got him out. In other words, he got out of there as quickly as he possibly could. If you try and negotiate with sin, listen carefully, please. If you try and negotiate with sin, usually leads to falling into sin rather than conquering it. So it is better to just get up and get away from the situation as quickly as possible. The Greek word for flee is pheugo, P-H-E-U-G-O, meaning to flee or take flight, to run away as fast as possible, or to use your escape hatch. Doing this means you will not succumb to those temptations around you. I want to give you some food for thought. 3 different items here. Number 1, if you know you're being tempted to get angry, just walk away. Be the bigger person. If you know you might get your feelings hurt by what is said, go somewhere else to avoid the offense. Remember, Satan is a master at causing offenses. Too many people are walking around offended out there. Number 3, if you know you're being tempted to sin sexually, get out of the situation immediately. Don't wait. So in closing, this is a very powerful treasure the Lord gave me. I hope you enjoy it. Let it encourage you that you can be a conqueror and not be conquered by Satan the devil, by temptation. Who says it? God says it, and God is faithful. So until we meet again, I pray that this is encouraging and giving you more knowledge on how to fight the devil. And I thank you for tuning in. Be blessed until the next time we meet.